Welcome back to Joe's Math Tools, where math is made easy. In our session today, we are solving a one-step equation when we're using subtraction. And if you're ready to see how this is done, let's get started. So in our equation today, we are going to be solving our one-step equation using our subtraction operation. Now remember that whenever you are solving a one-step equation or any equation as a matter of fact, your main goal is always to get your variable, which in this case is q, on one side of the equation by itself. So we're going to begin by first collecting our like terms. So I'm going to put back my variable q, and now what I'm going to do is take my 12 and let it remain on the same side of the equation. And in this equation, since my 7 is being added in my equation, I'm going to move this to the opposite side of the equation where my 12 is. And instead of adding, I will be subtracting 7 from my number 12. So we're going to subtract 7 from 12, which will equal to 5. And we're going to return our q back to the equation on the same side that it was originally on. So for this equation, our q is equal to 5. And as always, if you've seen any of my other algebra videos, you know I like to always check my solution before I move on any further. So if I'm saying that q is equal to 5, then that means that in my equation, when I replace q with 5, and add it to 7, it should equal to 12 to make my solution valid. And in this case, it does, so that means that my answer of 5 is the correct answer for my equation. Okay, so let's try another example. Again, feel free to pause the video, try and solve the equation for yourself, and then you can unpause it and work along with me. Okay, so let's get started. Now with this equation, I know it seems a little bit different from the others, and in some cases these do trip up students because once you move a number or a variable around, they tend to feel as if they're doing something different. But remember that the steps are always the same. So as always, we are solving to get our solution for our variable c. So c was going to remain on the left-hand side of my equation. Again, with my 23, I'm going to collect my like terms. Since 12 is still positive here, remember that all negative answers or subtracted answers will always have a minus sign in front of it, and if it doesn't, that means that it's being added. And since 12 is being added, I'm moving this again to the opposite side of the equation. And since 12 is being added, I'm going to be subtracting 12 from 23. Okay, so let's perform our last step. So we're returning our C, and when 23 subtracts 12, we will get 11. So we're saying that our C for this equation is equal to 11. And as always, let's perform our last check. So if C is equal to 11, then when 12 is added to 11, it should equal to 23 for this equation to be valid or correct. And because it does, that means that my C equals C11 is the correct answer for this equation. Okay, so there you have it. We just solved the two-step equation when we were using subtraction in our operation. As always, get some additional practice in, and I'll see you right here in the next video on Jules Math Tools, where the aim is always to make math easy.